Hello and welcome to Midday Live. It's actually the Good Friday edition. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Adesanwe in Accra. We're also streaming worldwide on the internet via 3news.com. We're also live on DSTV channel 279. Let me take you through what's going to happen in the next 1 hour. Now, President Akufo-Addo assures Ghanaians of government's commitment to promote rule of law and respect for individual liberties and human rights. Ghana Education Service directs public senior high schools to charge final year students half of the third term fees for the 2017-2018 academic year. And on the international front this afternoon, Botswana's President Ian Khama to step down on Sunday, leaving his deputy Masisi in charge until next year's elections. Don't forget that you can get interactive with us via various social media platforms as well, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Let's start the bulletin off with the President of Ghana. And President Akufo-Addo has assured Ghanaians of government's commitment to promote the rule of law and respect for individual liberties and human rights. In his Easter message, the President expressed government's resolve to ensure that social justice and the principles of accountability are upheld.
We are ensuring the realization of fundamental requirements of social justice and solidarity. We're looking past commodities to position our country in the global marketplace. We're determined to free our people from a mindset of dependence, aid, charity, and handout.
He noted Ghanaians should celebrate Easter with a mindset that the country is on a path of prosperity.
Let us celebrate Easter as a real source of hope, that there is a brighter future ahead of us. Let us use this Easter celebration to renew and strengthen our faith in God, and to be confident that with God's guidance, we can transform our nation and use all the blessings that the Almighty has bestowed on us to bring progress and prosperity to all our people.
Well, it's Good Friday, and as expected, some people might want to travel to their various hometowns. So the news team hit some transport yards, particularly in Accra, to find out how and when people are traveling. Well, the Easter festivities is already upon us. It's Good Friday. And of course, you know that usually when it comes to this time, people like to travel to their various villages or even just travel to have some fun. So we're currently at the Tudu STC here in Accra, and I'm going to be speaking with Mr. Opoku. He's one of the operational managers for this particular station. When it comes to this season, which destinations do people go to a lot?
The destination Aflawo terminal. They have the huge number of people. Besides 2 a.m. and after now, it's still live.
Averagely, on a busy day like this, how many buses will leave?
Uncountable. Yeah, besides 2 a.m.
How many buses have gone so far since 2 a.m.?
About 18.
About 18 buses already?
15-seater buses, 18. Yeah, they've gone.
At this particular station, when it comes to Easter and other festive seasons, which destination gets the most patronage?
That one is Aflawo, the highest population of passengers. Aflawo, yeah, Accra, Aflawo, yeah, followed by then Takwata Krade. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I see. Yeah. Hello. Please, what's your name?
My name is Matthew Notepe.
Okay, Matthew, where are you off to?
I'm off to Aflawo.
Okay, so why are you going to Aflawo?
I'm going to Aflawo because of this festivity. So we are going to celebrate with our families there.
Oh, so that's where you're from?
Yeah, please. Every year I do go to my mom to celebrate Easter with her.
So that's one passenger there who says he never misses an opportunity to go visit his mom and celebrate the Easter with his family. I'm sure there are other people who are also enjoying the Easter celebrations as well. Hello, darling. What's your name?
I'm Barbara.
Okay, so where are you off to?
I'm going to Ho.
Ho. Why are you going to Ho?
Oh, okay, actually, I'm just going for a little family get-together.
What does Easter mean to you?
Easter, we are just celebrating the death of Jesus Christ. He died for our sins. So we are just celebrating his death and then the resurrection and then washing away all our sins.
What's your name, darling?
Mirabel.
Mirabel. Okay, where are you going?
I'm going to Togo.
You're going to Togo. Is that where you're from? Who are you going with?
My father.
You're going with your father. Okay, so is that where you're going to celebrate your Easter? Do you know what Easter is about? You don't know. Do you have anybody you want to wish happy Easter to? Okay, say bye-bye to the camera.
It means a lot to me because my Christianity starts from the cross. Today is a great occasion to remember the vivid day of the crucifixion. Not today that they are crucifying him, but they crucified him already, and I'm going to tell the other people in the Volta region about it.
Thank you very much.
And your name?
Solace Rose Quarte, TV3.
Oh, bless you.
Bless you too. Right, in other news, work on a 120-bed modern hospital in the Seche Kumawu district of the Ashanti region has stalled since December 2016. Now, communities seeking access to improved healthcare are anxious to see the facility brought to life. Now, this is a report by Beatrice Spiel-Gabra.
Construction of the two-year project at Kumewu started in 2015. The facility is among 9 hospitals initiated across the country by the NDC administration to improve access to quality health care. Phase 1 of the hospital, which sits on a 50-acre land, includes an outpatient department, 2 operating theaters, intensive care unit, accident and emergency unit, and a blood bank. It was scheduled for completion in 2016. Information gathered by TV3, however, indicates work stalled 2 weeks to the 2016 general elections. Some structures nearing completion include the maternity block, as well as the male, female and children's blocks. All have been left to the mercy of the weather. Weeds have taken over the area and some structures are deteriorating. The Kumewu Traditional Council petitioned the president for work to resume on the hospital. Chief linguist, the paramount chief of Kumewu, Nana Owusu Bempa, expressed worry at the sorry state of the project.
Government has now pumped so much money into that project, and it is now a standstill. Berema and Nananom, Nanahima have appealed to the government, and the government has made a promise that they are going to make the project ongoing. So we are waiting for the government to help us to get that district hospital.
District Chief Executive for Seche Kumewu, Samuel Adai Ejekum, told TV3 work halted to allow for forensic investigation to be conducted on the operations of the contractors, Soland Construction Company. He said work will soon commence as the investigations have ended.
The Director General for Ghana Health Service has also assured us that they will come and commence construction. As I take it to be that the forensic audit is concluded and that they are satisfied. For that matter, I think the business must start so that the people of Kumewu can benefit from this very facility.
The DCE acknowledged a modern hospital for Kumewu and other 10 adjoining communities will improve the health status of the people. Until work resumes on the hospital's construction, these facilities will continue to be at the mercy of the weather.
Now, poverty and lack of parental care continues to deprive children in the Adan East District of the Greater Accra region from accessing education. Some children have to work during school hours in order to raise money, while others are completely out of school. Now, Peter Kwa Adato tells the story of 2 sisters who wake up at 3 a.m. thrice a week to engage in oyster picking after nearly 5-hour journey on foot.
It was a bright Thursday morning and the time was 7:45. The location was one of the landing beaches in Adafo in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region. Among the handful of women actively engaged in oyster preparation are two sisters, 16-year-old junior high school Form 2 student Rebecca Sew and her sister Esther Sew, who is in primary 6. Curious about their look, we approached them. The eldest of the timid-looking sisters, Rebecca, would only open up after persistent questioning. My name is Rebecca Sew. I come from Toku, near Kase, and I am in Form 2, she says. We usually come to the landing beach here at Kpongpokwanya to work in order to raise some money for school. She continued, both of our parents are traders but would not give details. Their journey starts at 3 a.m. on foot from Toku, near Kase. The nearly 5-hour journey ends here at the landing beach of Kpongpokwanya, a suburb of Adafo. Rebecca and her sister Esther join other women to collect oysters for a fee ranging from 9 cedis and 15 cedis, depending on the size of the basket and the quality of oysters in it. At least 4 women handle a basket at a time, from shelling to picking off the entrails. Depending on the volume of work, Rebecca and Esther would have to set off around 4 p.m. back to Toku. They'll be arriving home at 8 p.m. with at least 20 cedis in their pockets. They're likely to return the next day or two for business. No wonder they hardly communicate in English. But Rebecca and Esther were not the only children out of school. Tens of children loiter about at Kpongpokwanya landing beach and the community all day, and their parents have varying reasons for their absence from school. Some claim their wards were absent due to ill health, while others claim they're too young to enroll. However, our checks revealed most of the claims were not true. Teachers we spoke to blamed parents for their ward's absence from school. They insisted most parents prefer their ward stay at home to assist them in their businesses rather than allow them to go to school. So, what has happened to the free compulsory universal basic education rule, and when will we see its full implementation?
Now, still on issues regarding education, the Ghana Education Service, GES, has directed public senior high schools to charge final year students half of the third-term fees for the 2017-2018 academic year. This, according to the GES, is because the students who will be sitting for the 2018 WASSCE examinations will spend only 7 weeks in school instead of the full 14 weeks. Now, schools are set to reopen for the third term on April 16 and will vacate on July 20, 2018. The final year students are expected to be in school up till June 1, 2018. The memo added that adjustments could be made if students are made to stay through the Easter vacation. Continuing students, second and final year students in the various public-funded SHSs do not enjoy the free SHS, which was introduced by the government in September last year to cushion parents. Now, the Food and Drugs Authority is appealing to the general public not to patronize any Farmers Deli Vienna products should they find the products on the market. This comes in the wake of the listeriosis outbreak in South Africa linked to ready-to-eat meat products. The FDA, in a statement, alerts the general public that Farmers Deli Vienna products have been affected by the Listeria bacteria and therefore are on full recall regardless of their batch. Post-market surveillance activities nationwide and vigilance, according to the FDA, have been intensified at the various ports of entry. All Farmers Deli Vienna products from South Africa would be detained and the necessary regulatory actions taken. Now, the Global Impact Development Alliance Ghana, a local NGO in the Upper West region, has responded to the needs of pupils at Klukpong Primary in the Wa East District by donating teaching and learning materials to the school. Their intervention came after TV3's Mission Ghana report by Bright Nana Amfo, which highlighted the developmental needs of pupils in the school. Here is a report by Yakubu Adbu Gafor.
TV3, in an earlier report by Bright Nanamfo at the Klukpong DA Primary School, highlighted the deplorable condition under which teaching and learning took place. Lack of classroom block, lack of furniture, inadequate teaching and learning materials were among some of the challenges confronting both teachers and pupils. This attracted Global Impact Development Alliance to donate some items to the school. The items include books for writing, pens and pencils, some hand-washing containers, and a wall clock for the staff. The chief of Klukpong, Na Abu Salia Bafaradu II, was grateful to Global Impact Development Alliance Ghana for their support. He thanked TV3 Mission and Bright Nanamfo for the report on the plight of the school.
We are so grateful to TV3 for having somebody whose name is Bright. And he's gone around all the dark corners of this nation and is brightening those corners through TV3. We are so grateful, and we think that with God's grace, TV3 will continue to shine.
The head teacher of the school, Nuruddin Suglo, was happy for the donation but called on other organizations and government for support.
The students, they don't have furniture in the school which will help them to sit well and be writing. And I still need the support from any NGO who will hear our cry.
A Class 6 pupil, Kumbadi Charles, also told TV3 that the books will help in their education. The acting chief executive officer of Global Impact Development Alliance, Ghana, Yahya Fawood, said they will also embark on programs to supply farm input to farmers and entrepreneurship training to the vulnerable and school dropouts. Meanwhile, the Klukpong Primary School was adjudged the best healthy school environment for 2017 in the Upper West region.
Now let's move away from that, and the Executive Director of ARC Foundation, Dr. Angela Dramina, has challenged management of companies to promote gender-friendly policies. She was speaking at a workshop on gender-friendly workplaces in Accra.
Victims of various forms of harassment in the workplace hardly take it up legally in the courts of law. But activists of gender-friendly workplaces say this is changing, and companies which do not have policies and practices around this, including sexual harassment, could have major repercussions.
It's important for companies, institutions, organizations to not only have sexual harassment policies in place, they must also ensure that they have trained committees that handle sexual harassment cases. If they don't do that and people start suing companies for sexual harassment violations, they're going to go down with big damages, compensatory damages and things like that.
CARE International and Women in Law and Development in Africa, WILDAF, sought to drum home this development as it brought together organizations in both the private and public sectors to emphasize the correlation between gender-friendly workplaces and productivity. A lawyer and consultant, Taka Awori, pointed out that increasingly companies are realizing the benefits of policies and practices which recognize male and female needs and responsibilities outside of work to the company's bottom line.
I'm actually starting to see companies that recognize the value of having an.
Right, now we will be right back with more news updates after this. Don't forget, this is the Good Friday edition of Midday Live. We'll be right back. Now, we're slowly wrapping up the Ghana month, but when you talk of Tuozafi, you talk of Fufu and Kenke, and specific tribes do come to mind. Now, the sale of banana and groundnuts are also associated with some tribes. Some types of food are said to be better prepared by certain tribes as well. But is this the case? Now, Catherine Frimpoma has been finding out this. Watch this.
Food is central to Ghanaian life, just like in every culture, regardless of where you may find yourself. Chop bars are dotted across Ghana and also in major cities abroad. From fufu to banku and garifuto, everyone has a favorite dish and every region has its own specialties. The main dishes in Accra include kenke with hot pepper and fried fish, red or yoke gari, and tatali. It is said that if an Ashanti man does not eat fufu, then he has not eaten that day. Fufu with light soup and smoked fish or groundnut soup, as well as boiled plantain with kontomire, spiced with momone, dried fish with red oil, egg and kobe are all staples of the Ashantis. The best, they say, comes from the West, and their main dishes are cheke, served with avocado, acheke napaya. If you happen to be in the central region, then you dream of tasting the best of fanti dokono or etzel with fanti. The Volta region's dishes includes akole with okra soup, abolo with shrimps and 1,000, banku with okra stew or pepper, red and fried plantain. Volta tilapia is a specialty and can be found both by the roadside and in the riverside hotels along the Volta. Welcome to the food baskets of the country. Yam fufu with kontomire or dry okra soup chinkasi is their chief food alongside plantain and cocoyam ampisi. Tuozafi, also known as TZ, omuchio with groundnut or green leaf soup, beans or cowpea with shea nut oil and pepper called tubani, cocoa or millet corn porridge eaten with kosi. Beverages include pito, a locally brewed beer made from millet, zomkurum or toasted millet flour in water, and fula. The Eastern region is a diverse region, and this is reflected in its cuisine. Everything is eaten here, from fufu to omutio, but their chief food is a bunubunu with the wow, mekwang, and mpoto. Food is one of the elements of culture that distinguishes people according to their tribe and descent. And so it is not surprising that certain types of food are associated with certain groups of people or tribes in the country. I am currently in Tamale at a food joint, and I was surprised to see someone preparing kenke, ga kenke to be specific. She is a Nodna, as a matter of fact, and I want to find out from her how she manages to do this. Good morning, Adia.
Good morning.
Oh, you're Nodna.
I'm a Nodna.
So how are you able to prepare kenke, ga kenke?
Yes, like we have Gam woman in our house, so she's the one show us how to do the kenke.
Well, if I wasn't hungry, I definitely am now. Now let's stick to culture, as it is defined as the way a group of people live. Now this comprises of their language, their festivals, belief systems, and even the type of food they eat, among other peculiarities. The Ahantas, predominantly found in the southern part of Ghana's western region, have a special delicacy cherished by the indigenes and quite popular in other parts of the country, even going beyond our borders to La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, Fom is an Ahanta heritage. Watch this.
Fom, as the hunters call it, is made from milled corn The corn is sent to the mill to remove the tester. It is then soaked in water overnight before it is again sent to the miller to come out with a fine and smooth corn dough. The process of preparing foam continues as the dough is kneaded in a basin before it is sent to a boil under a normal temperature but half cooked. After that, the half-cooked dough is collected again into a basin to cool. Like Madam Mary Coffee, popularly known as Auntie Aso, a native of Apoa in the Hunter West municipality who operates a popular foam joint around the Takoradi Central Business District. She does the preliminary preparation at home and then brings it here to finish it up. Over here, she molds the half-cooked dough in a circular motion and then uses her thumb to make a hole in it before she puts it in a saucepan on fire which already contains boiling water. She does that continuously and then covers it to boil under a medium heated temperature. When it is cooked, she collects them into a mortar and pounds it. The pounding takes a while depending on the quantity and the size of the mortar. Intermittently, she adds some of the boiling water to soften it. Salt is also added for taste. When the expected texture is achieved, she then dishes the fine cooked and hot pounded foam and then wraps it with treated leaves. The foam ready now is beautifully displayed to attract her customers. Auntie Aso has been a foam vendor most of her life.
From work, I never did any other work apart from cooking and selling foam. I learned it from my mother, so after my mother stopped, I started operating from this joint, and I have been doing it and used the proceeds to take care of my children's education.
Foam, like most Ghanaian dishes, can be eaten any time of the day, be it breakfast, lunch, or supper. These customers decide to eat foam for breakfast.
Foam is a good food. It is also fine. You feel good after eating and makes one live longer.
It is a kind of food which is heavy and it does not easily digest. So when you eat it in the morning, you may not feel hungry till evening time.
As a complement to its carbohydrate content, it usually goes with a protein like fried fish or shrimps or kaku sauce with pepper, and that makes it a nutritious delicacy. Maybe you should visit Auntie Aso or any other foam vendor to have a taste of it. Leverage and Prochum Otri. TV3 News, Takoradi.
Well, we hope we've been able to whet your appetite for some local cuisine, but let's move away from that and head to the courts, where the Supreme Court has ordered the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to file a response within 14 days, failure of which the court will commence hearing the case in which the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has been sued over the $2.25 billion bond issue. Now, this was after the court granted an application for extension of time filed by Shraj, though they were not in court to move the application.
The Apex Court, presided over by a sole judge, Justice Yawa Powell, wondered if the commission was serious to contest the case. He expressed shock that after filing for an extension of time, the commission failed to make an appearance. He therefore exercised his discretion and granted the application, though Shraj was not in court to move the motion since the other parties did not oppose the application. A group calling itself Dynamic Youth Organization of Ghana, DIMOG, in January sued the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, the Attorney General, and the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, over the $2.25 billion bond issuance. The group in its suit is invoking the proper jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to interpret Article 284 of the 1992 Constitution. Shraj cleared the finance minister of conflict of interest allegations following a petition forwarded by an NDC member, Broja Jemfi. Shraj, in its report, had stated that on the basis of the evidence available to the Commission, it had come to the conclusion and therefore holds that the allegations by the complainant that the respondent has contravened Article 284 of the 1992 Constitution by putting himself in a conflict of interest situation in relation to the issuance of the 5-year, 7-year, 10-year and 15-year bonds have not been substantiated. But the leader of the group, Edward Tutor, insisted the decision to clear the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, of any wrongdoing contravenes Article 284 of the Constitution.
We are taking up this issue in the best interest of the nation, being mindful of the fact that corruption has been one of the factors that has militated against our progress. And conflict of interest per our laws has not clearly been defined. So we feel that taking up this case will bring clarity from the Supreme Court to set the parameters for indicating what qualifies to be a conflict of interest scenario or not.
The case has been adjourned sine die.
Now, on MTN Video Reports this afternoon, Oluko reports on the poor state of the Community 22 roads.
This road is the road that divides Community 22 and Ashama New Town. It was a tight road and it started deteriorating 2008. All the MCs, Ashama MCs, have been staying in Committee 22 and they are fully aware of this road, but nothing has been done on this road. Now the road, what was a motorable, has turned to be a forest, Committee 22 and Ashama Newtown Forest. Behind this uncompleted story building is the current Ashama MP's house, and he's fully aware of this road. Look at how it is. Mr. Oluko reporting from Ashama Newtown.
Well, you can also send your video report to us via WhatsApp number 0551 433 044. The number again, 0551 433 044. It's now time for us to do some business news. And in business this afternoon, the Chief Executive Officer of UMB, Johnny Wah, has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's new Corporate Governance Directive, which seeks to define the roles of each member of a board, their tenure and age limits and board structure, among others. Speaking to TV3 Business, he said the corporate governance guidance has come at a good time and will help raise the standards in the banking sector.
Meralco Electric Company from the Philippines, CH Group Ghana with EDF and VO.
The new Corporate Governance Policy Directive 2018 is part of reforms being introduced by the Central Bank in a bid to address poor corporate governance, which has bedeviled the banking sector. The new policy seeks to define the roles of each member of a board, their tenure and age limit, board structure, risk management and compensation, ethics and professionalism, among others. Chief Executive Officer of UNB lauded the regulator for the detailed and exhaustive document and is hopeful it will promote standards in the banking sector.
It is a good thing. We welcome it, should I say, hook, line and sinker to an extent because of the positive connotation that it can give. We've already distributed to our key stakeholders. We've had a training program planned for all our directors and key stakeholders, our management. We want everybody in the institution to know that we want to be properly run.
On capping the tenure of managing directors and chief executive officers of financial institutions at a maximum of 12 years, split into 3 terms and not exceeding 4 years per term,
he agreed the time limit was adequate.
They say familiarity breeds contempt. If you are sitting on one desk for many years, there's that possibility that you may take one or two things for granted. So setting some threshold to say that, okay, 12 years you should have done a lot of the things that you set out to do, and therefore it's time for somebody else to come in and, carry on from the good job that you may have done. And I think it's fair.
He, however, called on the central bank to be open to suggestions and recommendations in areas which will require fine-tuning.
As we practicalize it, there may be areas that may face some few challenges and would need some fine-tuning. And I'm sure the regulator will be open to suggestions and potentially, if there are strong recommendations for amendments as the execution mode is setting.
Good corporate governance has been identified as one of the solutions to Ghana's current banking sector crisis.
Now, the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA, has denied reports that the EDF-CH Group pulled out of the bid for ECG concession due to inadequate information provided about the financial state of the power distributor. Now, CEO of MIDA, Martin Eson Benjamin, speaking exclusively with TV3 Business, said all the companies were privy to the same information.
Meralco Electric Company from the Philippines, CH Group Ghana with EDF and Viola SA, and BSC Company Ghana Limited, registered and operating in Ghana, were expected to submit their proposals for the final bidding process of the concession by March 26, 2018. But MIDA, in a press release on Monday, noted that BSC and Meralco were the two companies which had met the deadline for the submission of proposals for the concession. There were reports that EDF had pulled out due to lack of data on the performance and financials of ECG, but CEO of MIDA, Martin Eson Benjamin, disagrees.
If ECG has not had its reported accounts ready, it's not ready. They are not ready. And MIDA might feel very bad about it, but they are not ready. But the others took what was available, did extrapolations, went around, did their due diligence, asked questions, and were able to assume, certain positions and use that to put their financials together.
He is optimistic any of the two companies selected can transform the ECG.
They were assessed. So for us, our mandate is to work with the pre-qualified bidders. Now, if you argue that the pre-qualified bidders are not good enough, then there's a problem. Let's say they all passed and they all supposed to be capable of managing. They should be able to manage. And therefore, I cannot sit here at this moment and start undermining the people who have been pre-qualified to do a job, except somebody has additional information, which I don't have.
Government in 2014 signed the Ghana Power Compact with the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, an independent USA government foreign aid agency, which provides the country a grant of $498.2 million to improve the performance of Ghana's power sector. The major project under the compact is the ECG Financial and Operational Turnaround Project, that is designed to transform ECG into an efficient and financially strong institution through private sector participation. About $351 million of the MCC grant is being invested in ECG.
You're still watching Midday Live. We'll be back shortly with some sports news updates. Don't go away. Well, it's now time for some international news. Ian Khama, a former army general who's led Botswana for the past decade, will step down on Sunday, leaving his deputy Mogithi Masisi in charge of the world's second biggest diamond producer until next year's elections. While Masisi, 55, will inherit one of Africa's wealthiest and best-governed nations, he'll still have his hands full, reducing the economy's dependence on diamonds, creating jobs for the almost 1 in 5 workers who are unemployed, and wooing more foreign investment. Aside from gems, the country has little other than tourism to generate foreign exchange. Botswana law restricts the president to serving 2 5-year terms and provides for the vice president to automatically fill the post should it become vacant. The National Assembly will elect a new president after elections scheduled for October next year. The world could see its first city with a population of 100 million by the end of this century. That is the conclusion of a new research into the speed of urbanization in many fast-growing countries in Africa and Asia, which suggests even small cities could balloon into huge metropolises in the coming decades. By the end of the century, the world's population is forecast to reach up to 14 billion. 80% of those people will be living in cities, according to new research from the Ontario Institute of Technology. That could mean the first 100 million population city, and the top candidate is Lagos, Nigeria. Today, its population is 20 million, not the largest, as the accolade belongs to Tokyo with about 38 million people, but one of the fastest growing. In 2 generations, Lagos has grown 100-fold. By 2100, it is expected to be home to more people than the state of California.
We're now seeing the urbanization wave heading through China. That's toward the latter part of its urbanization, and now it's headed for India. And then we'll see it culminate in the big cities of sub-Saharan Africa.
France has offered to mediate the conflict in northern Syria, where Turkey launched a military offensive against Kurdish fighters in January. Ankara is battling to drive out the Kurdish YPG militia, which it sees as an extension of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. President Emmanuel Macron met members of the Kurdish-dominated Syrian Democratic Forces, including the YPG. Macron expressed hopes for dialogue between Turkey and the militia. France has suffered a series of deadly terror attacks claimed by IS in recent years, including the Paris attacks which killed 130 people in 2015. Just a week ago, an IS sympathizer killed 3 people in a rampage in southern France, including a police officer who died after swapping places with a hostage. Now in entertainment this afternoon, Media General, owners of TV3, 3FM, Onua FM, Connect FM, Akuma FM, Adesat Productions and 3 News have climaxed the Ghana Month celebrations with a food bazaar at the food court of the company. The Ghana Month initiative sought to encourage patronage of made in Ghana products and food. Naftali Ba has more. The month of March was declared Ghana Month, and Media General has been championing the cause in 4 different areas targeted at promoting the Ghanaian culture and heritage, where Ghana encouraged Ghanaians to wear and flaunt their Ghanaian outfits. The initiative saw news anchors and presenters flaunt their beautiful Ghanaian outfits with support from GTP on air.
They're beautifully clothed by Millie K and also fabric by GTP. Now, we are still in the month of March and it's Ghana Month, and of course we are promoting made in Ghana stuff.
GTP has been trading for over 50 years now as a genuine, authentic Ghanaian brand, and we're very excited to have been approached by Media General when the whole idea of the Ghana Month came up. It's been very, very impactful on our operations. It's a signal that yes, Ghanaians have come to accept what we do here locally, and I must applaud Ghanaians for accepting the whole Wear Ghana, Eat Ghana, Drink Ghana campaign.
Eat Ghana also sought to encourage patronage of local foods. And Watch Ghana promoted local content on television. Consequently, TV3 entertained its cherished viewers with intriguing Ghanaian movies. Viewers were not left out of the Ghana Month celebrations as they were given the opportunity to win beautiful fabrics from GTP. Now, let's see how the month of March was climaxed.
The Ghana Month celebration we started a month ago has been absolutely fantastic. Behind me we have local vendors who have been in our premises every Friday since we started to sort of sell local food to our employees, and they absolutely love it. We encourage our own on-air talents to wear Ghana, so throughout the month they were in their beautifully designed African prints, Ghanaian wear, designed by up-and-coming fashion designers. And we use the opportunity to promote these fashion designers because we really wanted to promote local businesses. We couldn't have wished for anything else, and we really hope that we can take this forward.
You know, on that note, I think some fufu and ebunebunu with some snails and crabs will do well for lunch this afternoon. And that's how we wrap up Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Solis Rose Quarte. Don't forget to enjoy your day and tune into our subsequent bulletins. We've been live on DSTV channel 279 and also with live updates on our social media platforms. Have a good afternoon and happy Good Friday.